Hi everyone, my name's Annette and welcome back to Cottoverdi. Today is day 11 of Vlogmas and I'm just pottering around in the garden. It's a gorgeous sunny day today and so I'm just doing a few jobs. I thought I'd bring you along whilst I did it. A couple of days ago I was potting up some cuttings that my sister gave me and I remembered that I wanted to take some dogwood cuttings. The Latin name for that is cornus, and so today I've taken those cuttings and I'm just going to pot them up into little pots. And it is possible to put them into the ground. If you wanted to root them just in your flower beds, that's fine if you don't have any pots, but I'm putting mine into little pots and I'll sort of try and protect them over the winter by putting them in my cold frame, but that's absolutely not necessary. The other thing I'm doing today is I'm going to pot up an Amaryllis bulb that I was gifted and also the lovely Cyclamen that I picked up when we picked up our Christmas tree. I was tempted by this beautiful Cyclamen, so I'm going to pot that up today too. So using gritty compost, fill your container up. I'm going to do 2 because I've got a couple of cuttings here. When taking cuttings, it is preferable to take cuttings that are the thickness of a pencil. So something like this would be too thin and it won't take well, but something like this here is going to be ideal. So I'm going to take off all the side shoots, and then the other thing I like to make sure is that I've got at least one node above the soil and at least one node below the soil, and a node is literally just where the leaves, the little branches are that I've cut off. It's really important to know which way up your branch is. If we plant it the wrong way up in the pot, it's not going to root at all, so we need to make sure we plant it the right way up. And the way I do that is I cut the top flat and I cut the bottom pointy. It just helps to push it into the soil. And then I take a cutting that's about 10 centimeters long and then I place my cuttings about 2 inches apart around the outside of the pot. And the theory is if we place it around the outside of the pot, it will be easier for the cutting to root, but also it's less likely to be surrounded by very wet soil and therefore it won't rot, less likely to rot. And then I am going to water these cuttings in and I will place these in my cold frame. It's completely possible to stick these in your garden bed, or it's possible to just put them up against the wall of a house where they're slightly protected from the weather, and then they will root in nicely for you. The other thing I want to do today is plant up my Amaryllis. Now I've been soaking the roots of this Amaryllis in water for 24 hours and they've plumped up really nicely. And the reason I've done this is because Danielle from North Lawn Flower Farm has come across some research, I think from Cornell University, that says that if you soak the roots for 12 to 24 hours before you plant them, then the plants will root in, they'll be sturdier, they'll bloom faster and better if we've soaked the roots first. So I'm trying this year, so I'm going to see how it does. If you haven't seen my previous videos about Amaryllis bulbs and how to look after them and plant them, do take a look. I'll put a link below and I'll also put a link to Danielle's video below so that you can see what I'm talking about. But I'll just cover quickly that it's really important with an Amaryllis bulb not to bury the bulb more than a quarter deep or a third deep. So we don't want soil coming up any higher than that in the bulb. So we need the whole bulb to be visible still, and try not to get any compost or water in this bit here or it'll rot. And I'm going to water this in now and then I will just wait for it to flower. But it's as simple as that with an Amaryllis, but you do want it, I'm pushing it down to make sure it's secure, and I am going to put a little bit of grit on top because I think it looks pretty and it helps with the fungus gnats, I find, because they are prone to getting fungus gnats because we grow them indoors. So I'm just putting my hand over the top here so nothing gets inside the bulb. The other thing I'm going to do today is plant this Cyclamen that I picked up when we went Christmas tree shopping, and I think it's absolutely stunning. It's called SS Dix Red and I think it is so attractive. So I'm just going to put it in this lovely white pot and I think that it'll look really pretty in there. So I've just put some ordinary compost in there mixed with a little bit of grit. And then a really good trick if you're planting, if you just want to slide something in, is to put the pot in that it's come out of. And especially where the leaves are overhanging the plant and it's quite hard to see, when you're filling it up. If you do that and then take the pot out gently, it will leave the perfect space for your plant to slot into, like that. And then I know that hopefully it's all nice and snug in there. Well, that's it for today. I really hope you've had fun with me in the garden just for a few minutes. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all tomorrow.